How can you erase your power bills so they look like these? Yes, these are real bills. And no, there's no hidden fees either. How can that be? I'll cover that in this video. Hi, I'm Tom with Premier Roof Solar. I've been helping homeowners save money on their power bills for the last 5 years with renewable energy. And my goal is to empower and educate homeowners like you so that you can make the best decision for your unique situation. The original idea of solar, which captured the attention of many, is still alive today. It's the idea of getting rid of your power bill entirely. You know that one of many bills that is unpredictable every month and keeps getting higher even though you're using the same amount or maybe even using less than before? Yeah, that one. In case you weren't aware, here in California, the utility rates get hiked at an even higher clip than inflation. I cover that in a different video. But solar can help you escape that. If you want to get rid of your electric bill and not pay a solar bill, you can definitely still do that. And the return on investment is relatively quick and low risk. What do I mean by that? Let's start with no risk. Number 1, will you always use electricity? Yes. Number 2, will the power companies stop charging for electricity? No. Number 3, do the utility rates go down? Also no. Number 4, is inflation, even a relatively low inflation, the norm? Yes. And number 5, would it be a benefit to stop paying this sort of a bill? Absolutely. So paying for power is a given, and inflation is basically a given too. The chances of the opposite happening is slim to none. So investing to get around these is pretty much a guaranteed return on investment. The average bill here in California is about $200 to $220 a month, or $2,640 a year. To cover that amount of usage with solar, it translates to 18 to 2,405 watt panels, and that gives you a little bit over 100%. This of course can vary depending on which way your roof is facing, how many panels fit on each one of those roof planes, shading, how close you are to the coast, among some other factors. If we go with 18 panels and we base it on the average cost of solar, plus factor in the federal income tax credit, that would be a net cost of about $17,500. Let's take a look at some ROI calculators to see how long it would take for you to double that money, or in other words, make that money back so you could pull it out. All right, so if we look at bankrate.com, you'll see it takes about, looks like somewhere between 9 to 10 years to make it back with some simple interest. If you use compound interest, looks like, yeah, 7 to 8 years to make that money back, or double the money essentially, so you could pull that money out that you invested into it and then leave the money in there so that it keeps growing. If we take a look at another calculator here, you'll see the same thing. It's between 7 to 8 years, and that's with a 10% return on investment annually, which is pretty good. It's about standard for a safe index fund. Now, if you take that same investment of $17,500 and divide it by the annual savings of $2,640, which is what you'd be saving if you cover 100% or more with your solar system, it would take about 6.5 years. And this is without considering the rate hikes that they give you every year, which I've seen as high as 12 or even 18%. I mean, if you haven't already, take a look at these LADWP and SoCal Edison bills from a few years ago compared to now. And remember that these rate increases from the utility companies are basically compounding like a compound interest. Imagine if your mortgage was compound interest. Yuck. Disgusting. The average utility rate increase here in California is between 6 to 8%, depending on the utility or power company that you have. If we factor in a conservative rate of about 4.5% increase per year, you'd make your investment back in closer to 5.5 years. But realistically, it could be sooner since the average rate is 6 to 8%. Systems last about 25 to 30 years. Since with solar, you're not going to be paying an inflationary rate, in other words, not paying that compound interest to the utility company, the savings are exponential over time. If you're saving about $220 a month in year 1, and it's compounding at a conservative rate of about 4.5% per year, then it would be like making nearly a total of $115,000 over the 25 years. And again, the rates on average increase more than 4.5%, so it's probably going to be a higher number. If you have the extra money to invest in solar cash, it is a great way to go. If you don't have the money to do it now, all is not lost. It doesn't mean you have to wait until you do. There are other ways to get started with solar and still reap most, if not all, of these same benefits. And no, you don't have to be locked into a long-term payment plan. I cover that in this video. Or if you live in Southern California and you want to see what the savings and investments or return on investment looks like for you, check the links in the description.